We're going to continue now with Tao and 4 because it's in chapter 4. And this will be Tao 4.3, and it will be in the Tao folder. Now, we've just done some different translations of the last 3 lines or so of this chapter or part 4, and you see the difference in the translations and what they mean. Now, what we're going to do is get into some books that have not only the translation itself, but some commentary on the translation or an exact replica of what that translation could be in several English terms. So, what I'm going to use first is this one here, The Guiding Light of Lao Tzu, done by Henry Wei, W-E-I. Now, he did an excellent book on the I Ching as well. Now, what Wei does in here, he does the translation, but then he has a commentary after the translation, which is very interesting. So, first of all, let's go to 4 in here and read the few last lines of his translation, which says, "Calm like a deep pool, it seems to remain. I do not know whose son it is. It apparently antecedes the Creator." So antecedes is the words he used. And he doesn't know whose son it is, doesn't know where Tao comes from, but apparently antecedes the Creator. Now, here is his comment. In this chapter, Lao Tzu sets forth an essentially characteristic of Tao as he conceives it. Tao is hollow and yet so useful that its utility is practically inexhaustible. This is the great mystery. Though hollow, Tao is pregnant with potentialities and possibilities. It is the font of the myriad things. It antecedes even the Creator, indicating that it is probably what gave birth to the Creator. The Creator of heaven and earth, and is usually regarded as any another name for God. Okay, the Creator of heaven and earth is usually regarded as another name for God. Thus, in a sense, Lao Tzu may have said, Lao Tzu may be said to believe in God, but as he sees it, God is not self-creating. He's said to believe in God as he sees it, but God is not self-creating, but originates from Tao, but hence whence from Tao. Lao Tzu confesses that he does not know. He does not know. He does not know whose son it is. So you see, again, more details of this idea of God in relation to the Tao. And as you can see, God in this sense is not self-creating as one would think so in our Western theological terms, but it originates from the Tao. Now, it does say here that Lao Tzu does believe in God. He uses that word God in here very specifically, but he uses the word for God differently than we would, because it doesn't come from God as the creator of himself, which God would have to be since there was no preceding of God or predecessor of God or nothing before God, so he would have to be self-created. But according to this and other books on the Tao is what came to originate God. And yet he doesn't know where the Tao came from, in other words, whose son it is. So you see, here's another way to understand the ending of chapter 4 and how the words can be interpreted. Now, what we will do next is to go specifically to 2 books that are very, very careful with that one word in Chinese, Ti, that means God, and we'll see what they have to say next.